Hi everyone, Christoph the Polish Geek welcomes you to the review of the newest Steven Spielberg movie, Disclosure Day. And yeah, the critics are already hailing and praising this movie as the best Steven Spielberg movie in a while, but do I agree with them? No, I don't. And I won't even call the movie a disappointment, because to call it a disappointment would imply that I was counting on a lot from this movie, but I actually wasn't, because the truth is, Steven Spielberg, or Ridley Scott for that matter, both of those directors haven't done a great movie in a while actually. In fact, the glory days of their filmography are a long past now that people still very much cling to, and that's why they are very much hoping that their next movie will be great, even though it's pretty clear to me that both men are actually the only reason they keep directing movies is because they're iconic Hollywood beloved directors, and that's the only reason they keep directing movies. And because of their famous names and past successes, people keep paying money to see their movies, even though, again, neither of the two men has made a great movie in a while, and I don't think that's ever changing. The truth is that the glory days of filmmaking of Steven Spielberg and Ridley Scott are long gone. And Disclosure Day is no different. In fact, I'm gonna say that kind of similar to Gladiator 2 actually from 2024, the trailers were much better than the actual movie. Because I will give it credit, I thought that the trailers for Disclosure Day looked actually pretty good and interesting actually. But again, that's not saying much, especially when it's Steven Spielberg or Ridley Scott these days. So yeah, I'm not going to be just saying, oh, what a great movie just because it's Steven Spielberg. In fact, I actually think that The Fabelmans from 2022 is actually better than Disclosure Day, but whatever. And the sad thing is that the first hour of the movie actually was pretty good, and I actually enjoyed the first hour. And during the first hour I thought, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Steven Spielberg still has some talent left in him, but after this first hour it turned out I was very wrong, because again, I really enjoyed the first hour. It was full of suspense, the stakes were high, there was interesting action, and it was pretty engaging, and I was like wondering, wow, what is going on? Where does this all lead to? Yeah, the first hour was really interesting, engaging, full of really high stakes, and again, full of suspense and thriller and all. But then, after this first hour, that's when the movie completely nosedives and becomes pretty much a huge mess. Just basically like another chase from government agents, another chase, and then you completely get confused of what are all the characters' motivations here and all that. And also, towards the end of the movie, there are several plot holes actually. I won't give the details because that involves huge spoilers, but yes, towards the end of the movie, there do arrive several plot holes that cause way more questions that they're meant to answer. And worse yet, even the ending, although this is the most praised part of the movie actually, but yes, even the ending actually also raises more questions than it means to answer, and it's one of those endings that feels like done for the sake of shock value and basically to feel unique rather than that it organically makes sense. And once again, it's very much a praised ending, and surface level it seems like a perfect unexpected ending, but trust me, the more you start thinking about it, the more you realize how little sense it makes. But also, as I sang, it's all really a shame because there are things I really love in this movie. And the first thing I want to say that besides the first hour, also another thing that I really love is Emily Blunt's performance as the character of Margaret Fairchild, the weather reporter who has those weird abilities that she can speak other languages, she can read other people's mind and all. Like, yeah, this is some interesting stuff, and I think Emily Blunt as Margaret just knocks it out of the park. It might actually be the best performance of the year, which says a lot actually, because this year we've been having some really fantastic performances from actors across movies, but I think that Emily Blunt's performance as Margaret might really take the cake this year, because that performance was simply spectacular. She's emotional, she cries, she shows emotion, she feels so authentic and real, and I honestly think that it's pretty clear that despite all the badly written script that she was giving and all, it's clear to me that Emily Blunt wanted to give all her heart to the character that she was portraying, and for that I have to really give her a credit. And it even makes me feel a little guilty about ranting about this movie, because once again, Emily Blunt clearly gives all the heart and passion into the character of Margaret that she's portraying, but again, a wonderful performance from a pretty good actress, doesn't mean much when the script around is so messy and makes little sense, unfortunately. But yes. Ultimately, I have to say, Disclosure Day is another recent miss from Steven Spielberg, to none of my surprise, because, again, as I just said, modern movies for both Steven Spielberg and Ridley Scott generally are bound to be a miss these days. I think neither of the two men has any passion left in them and just keeps working in Hollywood, because that's pretty much what they are at this point. Hollywood directors who just have nothing else to do, and that's why they keep directing movies, even though, as I said, I think that passion and love for the works they are directing is long gone at this point. And it's such a shame too, because Steven Spielberg is the man that gave us Schindler's List, original 3 Indiana Jones movies, Jurassic Park, and even some really good family movies like Hook, for example, and yeah, even his 2011 animated movie The Adventures of Tintin. Like, that was a really great movie, and I really loved that movie. Like, I was never a huge fan of E.T. for Steven Spielberg, but then again, no director is always 100% hit. But yeah, seeing the past filmography of Steven Spielberg, it's a real shame to really that this is the type of thing he's giving us now. But again, I don't think he has any passion left. I just think the man should retire. He's not going to, but he should. As should Ridley Scott. But whatever, for Disclosure Day, if you're very much still excited to see this movie, then you can go ahead and see it. It's not my place to be telling you what you should or shouldn't see. Just giving you my honest thoughts on this movie. And as I said, I think this movie is once again another miss from Steven Spielberg. Ultimately, the first hour, was pretty good and really intense and really engaging and interesting. And then after that, it really goes downhill from there. And Emily Blunt's performance once again was incredible, and I think she does deserve an Oscar for her really emotional and spectacular performance. But the script ultimately is really messy, full of plot holes, and pretty boring too, most of the time. So, thank you everyone for checking this review. Press the like button, please subscribe to this channel, and I will talk to you soon in another video. Talk to you then, bye!